Greetings, salutations, YouTube world. I tried to find something to listen to on the way home, and I was like, can't find anything. So I thought, fuck it, I'll go live. As of today, as of now, I'm working from home until fuck knows when, and I'm excited about that. I've loaded up everything except my desk, pretty much, but I've got a carload full of everything I need to work from home, and we have no idea when we're not going to be working from home anymore, so it could be weeks. I reckon it's going to be at least 6 weeks, if not more. It's weird. It's a weird feeling, man. My office chair in the back is causing a bit of a visibility issue, so I'm trying to plot my drive home without having to change lanes too much. Two people lurking, nobody speaking. G'day. Hey AJ, how are you? How you doing? Could just be you and me for the trip home. That's kind of weird. I always find when I go live after work on drives home, a whole heap of people usually rolling right when I'm about to sort of sign off. Which lane do you want to be in? Thank you. Thank you for sharing the road. Our mutual friend has COVID. He does. He does. I had to think for a second because I was like, well, I'm sure we've probably got quite a few mutual friends. Yeah, I saw that. I need to put a little get well soon message on Facebook. I had a quick scroll of the Facey during my lunch break, but it does suck. And he, you know, his story shows, I guess, how contagious it is because you and I both know if anyone's going to be super cautious, it's him. That mutual friend of ours is not a risk taker. And even just his description of, the only time that he had his mask off should have been a safe space and bloody COVID. My nephew's got it too. But he's on, I think, day 3, so hopefully he's turned a corner. I'm going to call him tonight because I didn't want to call when when they've got COVID symptoms, they're not really in the mood for talking. I might just send him a message. Um, we're getting, I think we're over 3,000 cases now, but so many people aren't able to get tested. So the figures that's the first time I've gone through over that manhole and the phone didn't flip onto a quirky angle where you get to see the sky. But we had 800 and something cases yesterday, so it's going up. We're not at the stage where it's doubling yet, but it probably is. But because a lot of people aren't able to get tests, it's a fucking mess, honestly. I don't have a strong view either way about opening the borders. I mean, a lot of people feel that they could have waited till after Christmas, and other people are saying after Australia Day and stuff like that. The only issue I had with them opening the borders was that they would be prepared for it when it got here. And it arrived on the very first flight into Tassie. And it's been, spreading like wildfire ever since. So, yeah, I can't read chat, obviously, while I'm going over the bridge. Hey, it was on this day in 1975 that the oil tanker, the Lake Illawarra, slammed into the bridge and broke 3 pylons, and 12 people died. We're driving over the bridge. It was really awful because a family, or I think it was a husband and wife, saw a car in front of them disappear, and so they slammed their brakes on, and this other car rear-ended them and pushed them onto the edge. They were able to get out of the car and warn other motorists, and 2 cars ignored them and drove off the bridge and plummeted to their deaths. Is it a mess where you are too? Because I can't believe we were COVID-free for such a long time. And you'd think we would have been prepared for when it arrived here, because the borders were going to have to open at some point. But nobody can get the rat tests or the rats. And even though public health keeps saying that people shouldn't rock up for is it PCR, unless they've got symptoms, heaps of people are still rocking up without symptoms. And people like my nephew, who had an appointment to be tested because he's got symptoms and a positive rat test, nearly got turned away. And he's an hour and a bit drive one way away from where he had to go. He's on day 2 of having COVID and feels like shit. Nobody could drive him there. I mean, expecting people who've got positive test results to drive themselves to testing stations is ludicrous, unless they're very close to where the person is. But yeah, he ended up driving for over 2.5 hours and nearly got turned away. And he was like, I'm not being turned away. I had an appointment and this is where I was told to come. I've got a positive rat test. I've got symptoms. So the number of people that haven't been able to be tested, so there's probably twice as many people here with it than is being reported, and they're saying it'll be 2,000 cases a day next week. So it's awful, AJ. We've got so many businesses closing because they've got too many staff who've tested positive, because they're all young for the most part. Hospitality staff are young uni students or just younger people generally. And they've got so many staff that are off work with COVID and they can't get any more staff. Plus, we're all adjusting to having COVID here because we've watched it from afar. We did have a cluster in the northwest at the start of 2020. And other than a couple of people who came here with COVID and escaped quarantine, but nobody caught it from them, we've pretty much been COVID-free since May probably, 2020. So we've been watching, it happening all over the world. So people are rightfully a little bit anxious about it being here, overly paranoid about it. They're just being realistic. But now that we're hearing about how hard it is to get tests and all of that sort of stuff. Like, people are just choosing to stay at home. It's easier. It's just easier. And they're not staying home out of fear. They're staying out of home because if they catch it, they're going to go through this stupid, underprepared process that we were all repeatedly reassured that when it got here we'd be ready for it. Well, we're not. And neither are the parts of Australia. Is that you, Blue Ridge? Hey, gorgeous. I can't read your comment at the moment. I'm doing 110 at the moment on the highway, but I'll have a look when I can. I mean, I don't think there's anyone in Tassie now who doesn't know at least a few people who've got it. But a huge part of the problem, which I've got an issue with, is our politicians that do the press releases and our media keep telling everyone how it's mild compared to Delta and the original C-19. But they're not also saying that it's a gazillion times more contagious, and the ramifications of that, that it's not just hospital staff that are going to be getting it, and our aged care staff, like fireys are going to get it, cops are going to get it, people who work in restaurants, all these restaurants that now can't find any staff are closing. And the locals, for the most part, we've got so many tourists here. And they don't want to catch it. So they're not supporting all these bars and restaurants. And the owners understand that. They understand because they're kind of wanting to be at home too, I reckon. Yeah, 35 cases in New South Wales, 35,000. It's a nightmare. Hey, Wendy B, it is bad. And like one of the news stories today was that they've got X billion amount of rat tests arriving in Sydney next week. I'm like, oh, how convenient. Like, a lot happens in a day with this fucking pandemic. It's a mess. It's a bloody mess all over the country. But yeah, we had, I think, 841 cases yesterday, and I reckon it's double that because even just with my nephew and what he went through to get a rat test, the only reason my nephew was able to get a rat test is that his housemate, who has been evicted from his own home because Jock and the other housemate are both positive. So Kieran, who owns a house, said to move out, but apparently he's fine. He's at his girlfriend's house, but my sister feels terrible. She keeps apologising to his mum, saying, I'm so sorry. And she's like, don't worry about Kieran. He's at his girlfriend's. He's fine. But Kieran's mum is a nurse, and she had one rat test at their home, and she very kindly gave it to Jock. But also when he went to the appointment for the PCR or whatever, I can't remember what it's called, the proper test, he refused to leave when they were trying to turn him away. He was like, nah, fuck you guys, I've driven an hour and 20 minutes one way for this. I'm on day 2 and I feel like death walked up and I'm not coming back tomorrow. And luckily the girl that he spoke to was very reasonable and did it. But part of that problem was all these other fuckers who believe they've been in places where there's been a COVID positive person who don't have any symptoms. They're blocking up all the queues. People are freaking out, man. PCA. I did see that bit of your comment, Blue Ridge. If I can't read chat on the drive home, I will stop at the beach for a quick natter. But I am going to do a quick pit stop at Smokes and Guns to stock up so I don't have to leave the house for a few days. Watch this nightmare unravel. I feel so bad for Tassie because a lot of the mainlanders are saying things like, oh, for fuck's sake, Tasmania, like, get over it. And it's like, no, they're entitled to feel a bit anxious about this, just like all of you fuckers were when it arrived in your cities. Like, give us a break. It's not like we're building bunkers and going underground and sending up flares. Oh, I just got a message on my phone, drops down. It's from a friend of mine from Adelaide who's arrived and she wants to catch up. And I'm like, oh, no, I don't want to catch up with anyone. If she comes down to where I live, if they've got a rental car, I'm going to say, come down to the beach and we can catch up down there. There's a cute little cafe. We can grab a coffee and go and sit on the beach. But I don't want to go back to town. I'm quite happy I don't have to see Hobart again for an indefinite period of time. Woohoo! Am I the only person who's excited about working from home? I don't know. I'm a bit excited. Oh, I really want to read comments, but you guys are writing essays. There's no way I can read them while I'm driving. What are you thinking? I'm sorry, Trev, you've written something really moving or stressful or whatever. I'm not dismissing it. I just can't read a frigging thing till I'm in either slow-moving traffic or not moving at all or at the beach. But yeah, does anyone else feel a bit like that, bit trepidatious when you get a message from a friend saying, we've just landed, can't wait to see you? And I'm like, you've been on a plane with people. You've been at an airport with people. I'm working really hard to avoid people. This is where YouTube is awesome. When you don't like being around shitloads of people, YouTube's great because you're kind of around people, but you're not. You know what I mean? I mean, I've been very vocal about people for a long time. We're not that great, actually. And when Daniel Johns walked out on stage, the first time I saw Silverchair with his black guitar that had one sticker on it that said, people suck, I was like, that guy's a fucking prophet. He's my spirit animal. Because, I mean, I love the people in my life. But strangers, I don't give a fuck about any of them. And I don't mean in a callous way. Like, I care about the global community as a whole. But people, for the most part, are fucking horrible. Fucking horrible. People, we're not that great, actually. And COVID's proof of that. COVID is proof of how people are not that great, actually. So is YouTube, actually. But COVID showed me that there really are two types of people on the planet. There's the I wants and there's the we needs. And fuck me dead, isn't YouTube full of I wants? All about them. All about them. And then there's the we needs who went, oh, a global pandemic. I might have to make decisions that impact people around me, the community, the global community. So fuck it, I'll put my personal wants to one side and I'll focus on what we as a global community need right now. COVID really has shown all of us who the twerps are in our communities. The little turds that got text messages saying your test was positive, you have to isolate immediately, who chose to stay out partying in nightclubs and, you know, potentially being super spreaders. The fuckwit from Melbourne who flew in here and got a positive result and broke out of quarantine to go and do drug deals in a park in the middle of the night. To fuck knows how many drug wandered around a very busy pre-Christmas supermarket and lied to the cops about where he went. There's stories like that from all over the world. COVID has really helped us identify the assholes in our community. Conversely, on YouTube, the love of money has revealed the turd burgers of YouTube, right? So, yeah, when you stumble across a good person, don't let them out of your circle. Latch onto them like a limpet. Identify and cherish the rare gems in our global community that are decent and we're just reasonable. So what happened on YouTube today? Has World War 9078 broken out? I did check out Hartley's recap of the year after someone mentioned it in my live this morning, and I'm so glad that she did the G'day Groovers clip. She didn't choose one of the ones where I sound batshit insane, so I was happy about that. I was ScoMo live at the moment. Is that why all my subs have moved on? Oh my God, there's a burger house coming soon in this neighbourhood. We've got it's a local chain of burger shops called Burger House, HAUS, and they're really good burgers. So that is a pleasant arrival in this sleepy little town. Oh, shit, I said ScoMo's live and 2 more people left. Are you fucking kidding me? Seriously, I got dumped for ScoMo? I mean, seriously, I'm just about to pull up outside Guns and Smokes. Don't say I don't bring quality content. Guns and Smokes. Guns and Smokes. It's actually called Southeast Firearms and Puffin Stuff Tobacco Station. Morrison's giving a live press conference on COVID updates now after National Cabinet. Well, AJ, if he says anything of any importance, let us know. Yeah, hi, Green Eyes. That's pretty much the directive here too. But my nephew, with a positive rat and a designated time and place to go and get his PCA, nearly got turned away because the poor people that were at the testing station had to spend the whole flippin' day testing people who don't have symptoms. or telling them to fuck off. And poor old Jock, who'd driven an hour and 20 minutes one way to this fucking place, was like, yeah, nah, I'm on day 2 of COVID. How do you reckon I'm feeling right now? And I've got an hour and a half drive home. So PCA me now, motherfuckers. And then luckily for him, they did. He didn't say motherfuckers. He's not as rude as his auntie. All right, I'm masking up. I'm going to go and get my stock. I am actually planning on quitting, though, while I'm at home. I have a plan, but it doesn't start till after my 55th birthday. Fucking hell. 55 next week. So I'm allowing myself to drown my sorrows. Yeah, well, it's not rocket science, stay home if you have symptoms, but they're making everybody leave their homes to go and get tested. And like Jock pointed out, he said, luckily he had a full tank of petrol because my sister went to his place and he put his keys out on the porch and she went and filled up his car with petrol for him. Hey, Francesca, I am live. I'm just about to go into Guns and Smokes. And I'm just pulling up here to be thoughtful for the next person. So I'll be right back. Talk amongst yourselves. But yeah, I mean, it's ludicrous that people who are really sick, and I don't give a fuck that they're saying it's mild. It's mild compared to the other two, but Jock is tough as nails and not a wimp. And his words were, I feel like dog, whatever that means. But in his world, that means you don't feel great. I'll be right back. You all look after each other. My numbers always go up when I leave. It cracks me up. Mel. Oh, yum. Blue crabs, yum. You're on your Samsung tablet, you can't do emojis. Not one is a biological kid of yours. Look at you all keeping each other. Oh shit, I've done that again. I've shrunk and I don't know how to make it go big again. Oh, fuck. Why can't StreamYard make an app? Like, seriously, it's 2022. I don't know if anyone else has rolled on in. So yeah, I'll message Jock when I get home and see how the little dude's doing. But how ridiculous! Like, I mean, Imagine having the flu and you're being told you've got to drive for like 3 hours to go and get a fucking test when you've already got a test that says you've got it. So ridiculous. It's not confident that our government went, oh, we're ready for it when it gets here, and it arrived on the first flight in on the 15th of December. And like everywhere else in the world, it's having a great old time because it's a really efficient spreader. It's, it's a superb variant in terms of spreading. You're in a mood, well, this is your time to vent. Just remember, I'm about to drive again, so you're going to have to yell at me, and I'm going to stop down at the beach. They won't go to it. They won't go to anyone here. I mean, there was a new testing station that opened in Kingston, which is south of Hobart, and they ended up pretty much closing before they'd really opened because they had 2 kilometres of people queued up and they weren't opening for 2 hours. And they walked along and all of the people were like, I think I've been at an exposure site. And they're like, do you have any symptoms? No. Well, go home. And they had to end up shutting it. Like they didn't open the doors because they couldn't. Like they had all these cars for 2Ks lined up. They do need to know for stats, but there's got to be a better way than asking someone on the second day of having COVID to drive an hour and 20 minutes one way and nearly get turned away because of all of these people that don't have any symptoms rocking up to be tested. And one of the reasons the government stopped putting exposure sites up was because of this, because essentially we should all act like it's everywhere because, I mean, it really is, right? You've just got to just go, it's everywhere. So take precautions wherever the fuck you are. But by putting up exposure sites, all these people that didn't have symptoms were like, oh, fuck, well, I was there 3 days earlier. I better be tested. And we're new to this. But, I mean, the same shit's happened in other states, so it's not unique to Tassie. But getting used to COVID's a bit unique to Tasmanians at the moment. And they'd get an alert on their phone saying, if you're at Coles on Saturday between 3 and 5, if they'd been at Coles at 11 a.m. on Saturday, they'd be like, oh, I better go and get tested. So that's why they're not putting exposure sites up. But now there's these Facebook groups that have just gone like ballistic. There's one that only started, I think, 2 days ago that's got 23,000 members already, where people are uploading their, if they've tested positive, they're uploading their check-in app of all the places they've been. And you can bet your bottom dollar there's a heap of people on these Facebook pages now going, oh, fuck, I was there, I better get tested, even though I don't have a symptom. Your doctor did? Well, your doctor sounds groovy. I mean, half of our medical places, medical centres, family practices, don't even have rat tests at the moment because they put them out in the shops. And just like with toilet paper, people swooped in and bought 20 boxes of them. Like it's like a black market here. Harvey Norman, of all places, went from selling boxes of them to selling them individually for $25, and the next day selling individual rat tests for $50. I think I saw a recliner detective has rolled in. G'day, Groover. Massive waste of resources. But I also I'm happy to cut Tasmanians some slack too, in that this whole we're prepared for when it arrives here. I mean, they've been telling, Tasmanians to not get tested unless they have symptoms. But before we opened up our borders, the government was encouraging people to get tested whether they had symptoms or not, if they'd been in places that they might have caught it, if they've flown back from interstate and stuff like that. So the message has got a little bit blurred for some people, and they're certainly putting that message out there, but you can't kind of train your population to do one thing and then expect them to do the exact opposite the next day. I mean, most people are intelligent and realise that they don't need to be tested if they don't have any symptoms, but there's always that group that, the point just flies over the top of their head. Yeah, well, there's a lot of debate about that recliner detective. They should be free here too. There's a black market for them, and at the end of the day, they're not necessarily that great. People have had positive results and then gone to get the PCA and they've been negative, and vice versa. So, I don't know. I'm happy to just walk through the front door of my home and close it and go for my beach walks, top up groceries every couple of weeks and wait. But I don't know how long I'm working from home for. This could go on for months, years even. I don't know. Luckily, we don't need to be physically in the office, and I've brought everything home with me except for my desk. So, but I use 2 monitors at work, and I've brought both of them home with me, and realistically, it's going to be better for me to set everything up on my dining room table because there's just more space. I don't think 2 monitors and a keyboard are going to work and a laptop are going to work in my study nook. But it's not like I'm going to be having a dinner party anytime soon. So I'll do I'll do a bit of experimenting tomorrow and work out the best workstation. I'd like it in my study nook because it's kind of tucked away and I'm not going to have fucking extension cords running all over the place. And the other thing is, because I'm only part-time, there's quite a few days of each week that I don't need to work and I don't really want, I don't know. We'll do some experimenting. I've got study nook, dining room table, and I've also got a second spare bedroom that might be an option, but at least if I set it up in that room, I can literally just close the door and ignore it till I go to work again, if you know what I mean. I'm working today, so I can get up and get dressed and go down to my little office at the end of the house. I'm going to pull up down to the beach, so I'll be able to read chat then. My boss is on holidays for all of January, and her partner bought a shack down here a few years ago. And she messaged me this afternoon, hey, let's go for a walk after work. Or first thing tomorrow morning. I'm like, you're on holiday. I don't want to see you. You're my boss. She's my friend too, but I'm like, drill sergeant, and if she suggests 5:30, I'm going to be like, I don't have to spend an hour driving. Well, it's not an hour anymore. I don't have to spend 40 minutes driving to work anymore. So, fuck getting up at 5:30. I'm getting up at 5:45. You want Macca's, Francesca? Didn't they? Did they used to deliver? Wasn't there one of those fast food outlets that trial? There's that fucking recliner. It's still on the side of the road. Now it's got a bathroom vanity basin lying up next to it. Didn't Macca's deliver for a while? Or one of did, I'm sure. Not when I was not in Tassie, when I was a mainlander. I think when I was in South Australia. Oh, can someone obliterate the Russian porn bot, please? You're boring. I do like the ones with the names of white Caucasian women, like Patricia McDonald and yeah, Uber Eats would deliver it. You're very disciplined with your food. See, we don't have Uber Eats down where I am at all, but we've got such beautiful fresh produce, and honestly, if it got to the point down here that I was like, I couldn't even be bothered, well, not be bothered, but if I didn't feel like heading out to get groceries, down here they deliver, so I still have to go out anyway to pick up my mail, and I don't want to have like no social contact, but if I got sick, getting groceries delivered would be awesome. Oh, the baked potato van's down here. I'm having a Caesar salad for dinner, but I do love me a baked potato, not going to lie. I kind of look like a baked potato, but they say you are what you eat. And I sang a baked potato song with Matt Lucas, so, you know, there is that. You are what you sing. The sun is so bad on my screen, and I'm wearing my reading glasses, so my bifocals, so I can't read much at the moment. We'll go down and see what's happening down the beach. Thanks for hanging out, Groovers. I couldn't find anything to listen to on my drive home. The downside of unsubscribing to shitloads of YouTube channels is your timeline becomes very tragic. Remember, we talked about the now described by some as the circus of YouTube this morning on the drive-in. I can't bite my tongue anymore. I mean, I think they're all as fucking as, I think they're all as insane as each other. I'm not siding with any side. I think they're all crazy. Sunny is going to be over the flippin' moon that I'm home, but I'm also thinking about the separation anxiety when I return to my office. She's going to need medication, I think. Oh, it's low tide. But it's a gorgeous evening down here. We might find a surfer dude for Morgan because her first husband went back to the Sunshine Coast and they haven't been able to consummate their marriage. Where's Kenny slid on in? No, Mel, I'm working from home as of tomorrow. I've got like a carload of everything from my office except my desk. But I did ask, I don't want birthday presents, but my sister does insist on buying me a gift. And so she's getting me a pet cam, but I won't be using it for a while because I'm going to be at home. But when I do return to work, it's this little camera that I'll have set up and I can talk to her through it, but I can also see what she's getting up to. Oh, for when I go back. Wait, so what happened last night? Last night was disgusting. Or sickening. I think the night before was sickening too, right? Some nutcase told everyone in a video about another person's medical issues. Pet cams are great. Wow. Live stream that. What, the camera on Sunny? People will just be watching Sunny sleep all day and waking up to clean herself and preen herself and make sure that whatever she's doing, she looks beautiful, and then she just curl up and go back to sleep. They only told one person. Oh, well, there's where they fucked up. Don't tell any person. Don't tell no one nothing. I mean, how many times do we see this happen on YouTube? I'm not victim blaming, but I think if most of us haven't realised by now that you don't tell people everything, or anything. Yeah, and they only told one person and so on. I had a whinge this morning about the people that defend their shitty behaviour by saying, well, they started it. I'm so sick of hearing that coming out of the mouths of apparent adults. It's like, wow, you're in grade 4. You started it. Be the bigger person. Oh, they haven't been around the block. Well, it's a bad way. It's a harsh way to learn, but unfortunately for all of us, really, it is a baptism by fire, the YouTube world, and you do learn stuff the hard way. There's no denying. And if you don't personally, you certainly witness it happening to somebody else. See, I think it's disgusting that people are having Candace and Don Wells on their channels. It's fucked up, man. Yep, sometimes it is needed to learn the hard way. I mean, it's not great. We really wouldn't wish it on anyone, but oh, here's a little public service reminder that I wanted to tell everyone this morning and I forgot. I'm going to do a little video on it. If you wear masks like these, the disposable ones, or even if you've got masks that are cloth and they're getting a bit frayed and gross and you want to throw them out, make sure you clip the elastics, cut them with your scissors so the loops are gone, because these things end up in landfill and they end up blowing into the ocean, and sea critters and land critters and birds get their heads caught in them, or they get caught around their bodies. You should do the same thing with all the little plastic rings on milk bottles and any jars that have plastic rings. You should always cut them as well. But yeah, if you're using these sorts of disposable masks, make sure you snip them with scissors before you throw them out. Oh yeah, that's another thing about YouTube. You don't actually have to do anything to fall out with people. It's a magical world. Yeah, it does. I mean, that's sad because I think part of the appeal of people going live on YouTube is it is a sort of reality show in a way. And I think people make connections because they relate to people they're listening to. And I'm pretty loose with what I say on here. I really don't care. But there is a lot of obviously personal things that I don't advertise. Thank you for that tip. You're welcome. Yeah, you do the bottle thing, cut the ring. Melmel is a vault of private info that no one will ever know. I mean, even the mod group that I started out in, which was, I mean, I had a weird experience in that because we all had our private information thrown out there. And even though I was part of that mod group, you know, we weren't all cut from the same cloth and did the same shit. But just by being in that group, I got all my public information put out there as well. But I do and remain very thankful that creator, when I got turfed, put everything in a vault and it stayed there. And I've got another Russian porn bot, Tatiana Kamihibiba. And you're blocked. See ya. There you are. There's your moment of glory. Really? Discarded mask on the streets? No. Hello, Mercedes girl. Sweet dreams, beautiful. Thanks for popping in and saying hi. Lovely to see you. Yeah. And that's the thing, because, I mean, although I had a falling out and I got booted from the mod group, I still could remember all the happy times and the good times that I had there as well. And it's not my style to dishonor the friendship and the connection I had with someone just because we fell out, you know. And I don't fall out with me. I mean, I've only got one ex who I don't speak to anymore. I'm on good terms with all of my exes. In fact, one of them was meant to be here over New Year's Eve and they weren't able to come because his girlfriend's got COVID. But, you know, he's back from the late 80s when we met. And, yeah, I've stayed in really good, I've got good relationships with all of my exes. I'm just not that kind of a person. They should be treated as clinical waste. I mean, that's part of the reason this thing is so contagious. Like masks lying on the ground, bad news. Bad news. And yeah, so just spread the word about clipping the elastics, because like you do with the plastic rings around the milk, the plastic milk bottles, or even like if you've got a jar of Vegemite, peanut butter, where they've got those rings around them, just snip them with scissors, because there's plenty of photos online of animals as babies that ended up with these rings around them, and they essentially choke to death, or they can lead to deformities, all sorts of horrible things. So yeah, clip those elastics. You say it best when you say nothing at all. Oh, you can't go to the baby shower because you're not double vac. Well, this is the thing. That's all starting to happen in Australia now. Like, it has to some extent, with restrictions in the past with numbers. Like, I think I've now been to 4 virtual funerals, and Mel and I went to one together. But weddings, engagements, all that sort of stuff as well. I'm sorry to hear that, Mel. You'll mention that. Well, if yours get burned, then that shouldn't be a problem. But they could still have the elastics clipped before they get burned because, I don't know, maybe the rubber may not melt. I don't know. Can't hurt. But that's a little tip I learned from doing the Bonarong Animal Rescue course, where we've got little baby Cashew, the baby wombat, and in February we'll be adopting a little Tasmanian devil. But they taught us that about the plastic rings, and then when I got the disposable masks, I was like, they should be clipped. Like, just don't put anything that's a circle in your rubbish ever. Cut it with scissors. It's a great idea. No, it's a new world, isn't it? And Australia, I really, like, my heart goes out to everyone all over Australia because we are now living what we watched for such a long time. And it's heartbreaking because the hospitals are already under so much pressure. And it's not just our hospital staff that are going to be catching COVID and be off work. Like, it's going to affect all of our emergency services. Like, people have no idea. And that's why the media and politicians continually referring to this as mild. They should say it's milder than the previous strains, but it's way more contagious. And the reality is, the more people who get it, the less access to services when you need it. Her baby Johnny Cashew, she's a little girl. Poor Cashew. It's bad enough to name Cashew. Baby Johnny Cashew. So yeah, we'll have fun with the Tassie Devil and choosing a name. Although I did say Grandma Ducky wouldn't let me donate some money I won on her channel to a local animal shelter. So I said to okay then, well, it's going to the Tasmanian Devil that we're rescuing or sponsoring, and you can get the naming rights. But I think what we'll do is we'll put she gets to make a suggestion that gets in the mix for the vote, just in case she's not at that live. They're making nurses go back to work after 5 days instead of 10. And yeah, in some parts of the world, they're making them go back after 3 days. Hi, Anastasia Beaverhausen. How are you, gorgeous? God, what time is it for you? The girl Tassie Devil's name in the cartoon is Molly. Well, we're not having a Molly. No, siree. Actually, Anastasia Beaverhausen probably knows more about what's happened on YouTube than anyone else, I reckon. God, it's a shit show. I mean, I know we've been calling it that for years, but it truly is now. Oh, okay, it's only 11 p.m. There you go. I thought it'd be like 4 a.m. or something for you. Yeah, we're not. I'm going to put my foot down on naming our rescued critters. We're not all adopted critters. None of them are going to have names of YouTube creators unless they're cool. But what I thought I might do soon is I'm going to do a live. Actually, I won't announce it. I'll just do it. Keep an eye out for a live, probably this weekend. In fact, I'm going to I'm definitely going to do it this weekend. I want to do something that I think will be very interesting for a lot of people. And don't forget, Groovers, tomorrow night, Batshit 7 on Finn's channel this week. And we've already got some absolute doozies. So, yeah, for you little Batshit fans, it's on Finn's channel. I think, because I think he's gone back to work, and the last time he was at work, he said it's always going to have to be on my channel when he's at work, but when he's back home. But in any event, it's going to be probably 10 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time, because the last one that he did, he came off a 12-hour shift and did it. He just needed like an hour to have a shower and get some food, and then we went live. But I'll put a notification on my community page as well. No, the shit show ain't as funny as it used to be. It's not even funny to sort of see them carrying on. Like, it's concerning. They are literally a freight train out of control on a track now. Oh, you had to get up and let Max out for a pee? Yeah, Green Eyes, it'll be, I might even chat to Finn tonight and just see what the deal is and put a notification, he's really bad at setting it up, hours in advance. Well, he's at work for starters, but he could do it tonight. But I'll let you know. Finn is great, although everyone keeps spelling his name wrong, including you, Recliner Detective. It's only one N. He commented on that the other week. I know, didn't it used to be fun? I think there's still fun out there, but it's, few and far between, but there is still fun out there. I'll let him know, Recliner Detective. He was just like, my name's on the screen and they all put 2 N's. What the fuck? I was like, dude, doesn't matter. But it clearly does to Finn. But he is great. He's got such a captivating laugh. And he's like my hyperactive little brother that I have to rein him in because he just goes nuts. It's pretty funny. I like our dynamic. I'm kind of the bossy big sister and he's the erratic younger brother. It's chaotic. Yeah, fun doesn't get you views. And look at all the channels that are trying to do fun things in the middle of being nothing but drama channels, and they don't get even, a third of the people watching they do when they're bitching about someone. Mallory used to make me laugh. I loved her when she used to do her notes, but I haven't watched her for ages. But she is a very funny person. How many N's, Francesca? See, Finn makes AJ crack up. Yeah, we scam in winter, Recliner Detective. I don't like spending my days and nights online scam baiting when the weather is good. I'm a bit selfish like that. I'm such a summer baby and such a beach girl that I just do not want to be chatting to scammers when I could be frolicking in the ocean. Painting a house with a Q-tip. That would be a very slow, painstaking process. We call Q-tips cotton buds here. Oh, I'd love to have a drink with Mallory too. Did you see the episode where Mallory was drunk? She'd caught up with a friend and she got home and she's like, fuck this, let's go live. And she was smashed. Hilarious. But, a lot of people can't watch YouTubers and just appreciate them for the humour that they've got. If they're not on the right side or they're not friends with the creators that somebody likes, they just automatically can't like them, which annoys me because I've never been like that. I've always been, I go where I'm entertained. And a lot of people who I find entertaining on YouTube, I wouldn't be their friends in real life. No way, you couldn't pay me to be friends with them. But if they're entertaining, I'm there. Mallory's channel, she keeps changing the name of it. It's Francesca, what's her channel called now? Mallory at Random? Is that it? And it's Mallery. I think it's Mallory at Random. Green Eyes, have you ever seen any of my scam baiting? You may not have. Oh, you've done it. Thank you, Mel. Hey, Miss Kay. Have you seen me do scam baiting, Green Eyes? Because I'm one of those people. I catfish Nigerian romance scammers. Mallory at Random, yeah. I thought she was Mlery, but anyway. Been a few drunk lives lately. They get deleted real quick once a beer goggles bugger. Oh, well, you have to, Green Eyes, because I'm a scam baiter too. Like, I follow a lot of scam baiters. Kit Boger's my absolute all-time favourite. But, yeah, I do the romance scams. They do the tech scams. I don't have the capacity to create, like, a fake website and stuff like they do. But Green Eyes, if you go back through my channel, there's, and even on the Smooth Criminal podcast, anything that's called the soft something is a scam bait of mine. And I recommend you start with the soft 6. I really need to finish uploading that to Smooth Criminal podcast because I know people have been following it, but they can find the episodes on this channel too. And then I'll do the soft 34, which was the one we did last year that was epic. But yeah, there's heaps on there. If it's got the soft, the last one we did was the soft Farouk. But there's the hard, or there's one called the hard Karen. There's the soft moobs, as in man boobs. There's a few of them. And they're pretty funny. Well, the soft 34 was centimetres. They give the measurements, not me, but we can't give that away. Green Eyes needs to find out why they're called that herself. That's a big part of it. But yeah, in winter I do scam baiting and the lives are hilarious. They are a lot of fun. So I get people up to read the part of the scammer and then hopefully they're around and we go live and take the piss. Rick Astley, Mel? What did Mel saying? Did you just rickroll Where's Kenny? Because in my lunch break today, the DeLorean went live or did a premiere. And it started off, same sense of humour as me, like setting something up, like the one where I did the death of a YouTube icon and it was about the recliner on the side of the road. And she's like, this is the most serious live I will ever do. And then she rickrolled everyone. Is that what you just did, Mel? Yeah, you know he'd be pissing her pants laughing at that if he did. Mem. BR rolled on him? I didn't see BR arrive. Where's BR? I can't see BR. Oh, BR, hello. BR, the star. You did. Shit, I nearly put you in timeout. Oh, I can't. You're a mod. Interesting. That came up as an option. You rickrolled. Yeah, Mem made you do it exactly. That's hilarious. But the DeLorean did it today too. But it cracked me up, her style. She was like, this is the most serious video I will ever do. And then boom. I mean, she said a few more things. She's like, I toyed with whether or not I should even do this, and she was in the chat going, I'm going to have to go offline for a few months after this live. So everyone's, watching with bated breath to see what she was going to say or who she was going to expose or whatever. And she rickrolled everyone. But I've been live for an hour and I'm going to go home and feed my floof, and then she's going to be watching me with interest as I start bringing all the things from my office in, including my office chair. Sunny's going to be like, what the hell is this? And tomorrow I'm going to wake up and get ready to go to work and then literally go to the table and start working. She's going to be like, oh, my God. You were proud of her. I can't remember what I said in the chat when I was watching it, but I felt equally delighted. Yeah, true. She didn't porn bomb you. Where's Kenny? That's the Russian bot's job. Yes, moobs and sex on the train. Oh my God, yes. Let's Lynette roll people. What we should do is start with like 3 seconds of Rick Astley and then it's just motherfucking Lynette's ass over and over and over again. She's never going to give you up. Let's do that. You've been looking for an editing project. There you go. People will be like, fuck, I've been rickrolled, and then bang, Lynette's ass on the screen. And yeah, we can just drop that link. Although I don't have a wrench anywhere now. I can't. I'm wrenchless. Oh, unless I still have one on your channel, Mel. Other than that, you're on it. Good work. You'll get your recorder out. I know I was going to go and play the recorder on my deck for hours and hours and hours. That's one thing I am going to have to possibly go over to my neighbours and say, guys, I'm really sorry, but I've put up with all day banging, but I work from home and we're going to have to sort of reach a compromise. Like, I know that you want to finish your project, but I've got to speak to clients on the phone and I can't function with that noise in the background. I am working from home, Kenny. Yeah, that's what I meant, Mel. Like, start with a little bit of Rick Astley, like for the first 3 seconds or 5 seconds, and then cut the video, but keep the song going and just have motherfucking Lynette's ass over and over and over. But yeah, my car is full of office stuff. I'm going to head home and feed Sunny. I probably won't unload the car till the morning. Like, I'm going to set up my office during office hours. I can only try, right? And the council told me to keep a log of noise and for 2 weeks, and they'll make a decision if they've been unrealistic or not. And then I'm disappointed because initially on the phone they said, "Oh, we can send them a letter," and I was like, "Well, I'd appreciate that." But then when they emailed me the log, they said, "We will review the log and decide whether or not to write to them," and I was like, "Well, that sucks." Yes, let's fine-tune that idea later. No, the recorder is not therapy. Sunny hates it. Absolutely hates it. AJ's going to bring the spac filler in Lynette butt roll if Lynette butt rolls. Oh my God, Leah D, hello. Happy New Year. I'm just signing off because you have arrived. No, I'm signing off anyway. Spac filler. I love that. Spac filler. Spac that crack. Speaking of cracks, there's a man emerging from the surfing budgie smugglers. There goes my appetite for my Caesar salad. Well, thanks, Groovers, for hanging out. And I've got to message my nephew, see how he's going with the COVIDs. I've got to message AJ's and my mutual friend and send him all the best. I mean, I know so many people that have got it now, it's ridiculous. I've got to thank Hartley for my cameo appearance in her summary of the year video. Yeah, I hope he's okay. So look, he was, I mean, it wasn't great. He hasn't been having a good time, but hopefully now that he's on day 3, you know, he's out of the worst. Poor kid. But the friend that AJ and I have in common, he's not having a good time. Oh, you just sent him a message too? Nice. Nice hanging with you too, Francesca. You're a Grover. No, it's Grover's here. Isn't Grover from Sesame Street? I'd apologise for the rickroll, but nope. Your sister has COVID. Well, sending out positive vibes that she's on the mend and feeling better soon, very soon. I think Jock will be fine. But he's angry that they keep saying it's mild too, because it's like it does give people that sort of reassurance that, you know, if they catch it, it's not going to be too full on. But they really should be telling everyone about the ramifications of everyone getting it, because all these services and things that everyone relies on, they're just not going to have the staff. It's going to be fucking chaos. It already is. So, you know, on the good side, it's not as severe as the other variants, but on the bad side, it's really dangerous because of how contagious it is. And not only that, they really should be talking about long COVID. It fucking annoys me that our governments, state and federal, are not talking about long COVID at all, where there's already enough medical data to show that 30% of people that get COVID will get long COVID. Like 1/3 of people that get COVID will get long COVID. And it's essentially like living with chronic fatigue and numerous other major health issues for the rest of your life. Like, seriously? Why aren't they warning people about that? Because everyone's going, oh, well, it's only mild. So, you know, they're saying we're all going to catch it. So, you know, if I catch it, I catch it. But tell them how the ramifications of a highly contagious variant is going to impact all of our services, and also talk about long COVID. No, I'm not triple boosted because I can now because they've made it 4 months, and I think it's the 17th I'm booked in. But we read an article about, you know, if you've had Pfizer, you can get like the Moderna booster, like mix it up a little. But then a friend of mine in the States was saying that they've been advised to not mix them, to stick with the same. And then I've done a bit more research and stuff, so I don't know if I should jump out and get a Pfizer one. I don't know, but I've had 2 Pfizer shots, and I'm booked in for a Moderna booster. That's a lovely message. Your daughter has it. Oh, sorry to hear that, Lee. I hope she's on the mend soon too. You can't go anywhere because you're not vaccinated? Nope. So, yeah, that's what I'm booked in for, but I might do a bit of reading and researching and see, but you've got a huge history of blood clots. Well, that's understandable that you're not vaccinated, but it sucks because I thought, though, that if you're exempt, you should still be able to do everything that vaccinated people can do, or has that changed? Because that was originally, that people with exemptions were still able to go out and do things. Have they changed that? Because now there's so many people out there that are vaccinated, like you technically fall into the whole herd immunity theory, which I don't even know if it's valid for this bloody variant or any of the other ones. Because it's kind of like one of them has its, moment in the sun, like Delta, but now you don't really hear about Delta cases at all. It's all Omicron now. So your AstraZeneca? Well, see, I originally was in the AstraZeneca group, and then the Australian government had a directive that people under 60 had to get Pfizer. So I got booted from the AstraZeneca clinic. Then I went to Adelaide the week they went into lockdown, and when I came home, they wouldn't let me go in for my first Pfizer, so that got postponed. So I was I was double vaxxed by September, and now they've brought the 4 months in, 4 months between them. I'm able to book in, but that only happened whatever day the 4 months thing came in. So, but yeah, I booked in for Moderna because they were saying it doesn't hurt to mix them up a little, but I had Julian Barr 7 years ago. Your doc said don't get the jab. Yeah, well, you've got to listen to your doctor. Oh, all your records are in the UK. Definitely need to be careful. You got that after taking antibiotics. That's scary. Jesus. I feel like I can end the live on this note. Far out. I'm taking antibiotics. That's so scary. Sending positive vibes out to everyone on the planet that's dealing with Omicron and other health issues at the moment. You've never seen a case of it till you came to Australia. You've had the 3 Pfizers? Yeah, I'm kind of wondering. I feel bad too because my work colleague decided to mix hers too. I don't think there's anything wrong with mixing. But it's interesting that, like in the States, their governing medical authority don't recommend it. But at the end of the day, they're all compatible. And I think the article came out because it was saying that, people are waiting to get the matchy, but because of shortages everywhere, they're encouraging people to consider getting a different one if there was a chance. Because I can't get in for a Pfizer jab until the end of February, but I can get into Moderna this week. So, I'm not this week, this month. So that's why I've gone for Moderna. But hey, Blue, you haven't even heard of long COVID? Yeah, well, Google it. And there's a lot of people with long COVID on YouTube talking about what it's like. And we've actually got clients with it from the cluster up in the northwest of Tasmania. It's bad. Hello, Beth M. How are you? Happy New Year. How nice to see you. Yeah, our GPs are part of the clinic that we go to. We have to go because of the the fact that the vax is in and the boosters are in a big vial and you've got to inject X amount of people to use it all up. So the family practice where I go, my GP is part of it, but they can't individually give you because they have to use, I think you get, say, 10 boosters out of each vial and they wait till they've got 10 bookings and you all go in together. Very true, recliner detective. Enjoy your day because tomorrow is never promised. Stay safe and don't get scammed. Exactly. I believe in the vaccinations or my daughter would be sicker. My daughter's in theatre and studio dub overs. 7 had to leave the studio. Yeah, I read about bicarb soda. That was really interesting. And I've got vitamins, and the other thing that's really good to get if people want to have like a little emergency kit at home, if you decide to, down here we call it COVID at home. Every state seems to have a different name for it, but they drop off a little Android device and ways to monitor your oxygen levels and temperature and all that sort of stuff. And you punch all the data into this little Android device and it sends it off to the health folk. And if you get really bad and losing breath and stuff like that, they will actually come and, you know, look after you or take you to hospital or whatever needs. They'll come and have a look at you anyway, or analyze you from a distance. I don't know, but it's quite a good idea. Yeah, there is some good. I did see that. Oh, you had it for a week and feeling better now. So, Bethan, how do you feel about politicians and the media just saying over and over and over again, it's mild? Because I just think that's so irresponsible. But with the COVID at home thing too, they also suggest like a little kit that you put together so that you've got paracetamol, vitamins, including vitamin D, zinc, iron, electrolytes is what I was going to say. They're really good. And bicarb soda, and just put them in a little container. So if you do decide to, if you do end up catching it and you have to, sort of do COVID at home, you've already got all that stuff. So you don't need to find someone who can go and grab it all for you. And everything you're getting, it's probably good to be taking irrespective, you know. You take a spoon with maple syrup, tastes like toffee. Yum. Beth's taking vitamin D and zinc. Yeah. I'm a reasonable person. I just think, well, I'd much rather have all that shit there if I need it rather than rely on a family member or someone to go and get it all. The only thing I haven't got a lot of is hydrolyte or electrolytes. So next time I'm out, I'll grab some hydrolyte as well. But it sounds like Green Eyes is having it with maple syrup. Yeah, and a good diet, plenty of veggies. Yep. Which is why I love where I live. Like, we've got so many local producers and there's a community co-op and you can email them what you need and they bag them all up for you and you just drive up and they bring them out to your car and pop them in the boot and you drive off. Salted caramel. I'm going to try that. I'm curious. Zinc is amazing. Blake used to get croup all the time. Your local chemist made this zinc syrup and it cut down the attacks. Brilliant. That's how, I've never made it. I wondered. I love the taste of bicarb soda. I love it. Even when I'm using it to like clean out a drain or something, I just love the smell of it. I've got a litre tub of maple syrup too. Our supermarket occasionally has like, well, not occasionally, it's got an aisle that's sort of like bigger than usual bulk items because we don't have a Costco here. And every now and then I wander down that aisle and I do use a lot of maple syrup and I'm like, oh, a big litre of it. Bring it on. You know, for like $10 or something. And it might even be 2 litres. It's huge. Liquid vitamin C, liquid magnesium, vitamin D. You just had a vitamin B injection. You're isolated in the spare bedroom and stayed away from your family. Love, Mel Mel. I've got to run too. I've got a cat that wants to be fed. Thank you, everyone, for hanging out. This has been quite the show. We've covered a lot of topics. But I'll be working from home. I'm pretty excited about that. I love that my boss gave us the choice and I went in today and it was only meant to be Sarah and I in the building, and 3 other people came in, and I was like, you know what? I'm just going to work from home. And plus we've got carpet cleaners in tomorrow, and it's like, I'm just heading home. See, Francesca? Yeah, it is very expensive, which is why I grabbed that 2-litre flagon of it for like $10, but it's a proper Canadian maple syrup. It's not like a maple syrup essence or anything. It's the real deal. Shit, I've got to go ahead and make my salad for dinner. I'm having a Caesar salad. Yum, yum, yum. My favourite salad. Yep, stay safe, everyone. And Green Eyes, I hope you have fun checking out some of my scam baiting. It's pretty good fun. Happy New Year to you too, Beth M. And to you, Lee. Night-night. Thank you, Francesca. Yeah, golden syrup is a more affordable alternative to maple syrup. Stay safe too, Miss Kay. Thank you, gorgeous people, for hanging out. You really are such a great community. We are a great community. Hey, bye, Blue. Night-night. And it was a lovely chat, AJ. I'll go home and message our mutual friend. Have fun with it, Green Eyes. But yeah, start with the soft six and go down to find episode 1. They're all on this channel, but if you go over to the Smooth Criminal podcast, because there's not as much content on there, you might be able to find them easier. And there's actually a playlist called Scam Baiting, I think, on both channels. Well, it's nice to you did, Lady. We're signing off. Sorry, Groover. But you still had time to say that to everyone, which is lovely. Stay safe and don't get scammed. On that note, thank you to everyone at the start, the middle, and the end. Anyone watching the replay and you get this far in, what the hell? I hope you had me on accelerated. I am Crystal Dawn. You always arrive when we're at the beach, and I'm like, sorry, babes, I'm about to end this. And the channel, it's Smooth Criminal Podcast channel. Like, it's actually got channel at the end of the name. Or is it just, no, it might just be Smooth Criminal. No, it's Smooth Criminal Podcast. It's the picture is a little pair of handcuffs. I'm just going to block this Russian. Smooth Criminal Podcast. But enjoy whatever you do. Take care out there, lovely people, and see you all very soon. Stay safe, everyone.